Oh shit, what is this one? Man, I don't even want to do this story. But it needs to be done. It needs to be said. And I want to talk about this, and I'm glad we're going to do it right before audience participation time. Although I do have a softener that I'm going to throw in because I don't even like doing this story. I want to cleanse my palate when I'm done with it. But I think we should talk about whether or not Donald Trump is as bad as we're being made to think he is. I watched a video, and, forgive me when I say what I'm about to say, but by anomaly, I know he has some ridiculous shit. But this was about why he supports Trump, which I don't support Trump. I wouldn't go as far as he goes. But he made a lot of strong points, like Trump killed the TPP. I happen to also agree with Anomaly when he talks about Trump's Middle East policy. As far as I'm concerned, wanting to ramp down military involvement in the Middle East is a good thing. I'm not against that. I'm for that. So he's also working towards peace with Vladimir Putin at the G20s. They already signed a ceasefire in Syria. Which I'm for. I'm for that. Whether or not it'll stick or not, whether or not the establishment or the military industrial complex who really makes those decisions on whether or not there's a ceasefire, whether or not they let it stand or for how long they let it stand, who knows? But at least he's trying. Isn't it cute? He thinks he's president. Now, he's a ridiculous person. He says things I can't defend. No one can. I'm not defending Donald Trump. I'm saying the media tells you all day long on every channel that there is and almost everything you read how terrible he is. And the media lies to you on a constant basis. And whenever they're all aligned with one particular agenda, whether it be Russia or Trump or anything like that, I automatically feel I'm being lied to, and I start looking for it. So they're forcing me to give Trump a second look. Like, why in the fuck are you trying to make me think that this is the end of the world? We understood this when we were Bernie or bust. I was a Bernie or bust. I understood what we were doing. No Hillary meant Donald Trump. Now, amazingly, it happened. I didn't really think there was any way it would happen because I actually fully believed that the Democrats would rig the shit out of it enough that Hillary would win. I fully believed that. I think Donald Trump fully believed that. I think Donald Trump was very surprised on election night. You could tell. And you could tell in his first meeting with Obama, he was he couldn't believe where he was sitting, what he was doing, the fact that he was president. I think it still hits him every day. That wasn't supposed to happen. We stood our ground. It's not the first time they pissed off progressives, but it is the first time that we stood our ground. So, and John's right. The media is the reason why he got elected. The media elevated him, and they did that for the Hillary campaign. That was their strategy. They thought that they could beat Donald easily, and Hillary was so unpopular, and we actually held our ground. She lost to Donald fucking Trump, all right? And everyone was shocked. And I think Donald Trump is included in that group of everyone. I don't think he thought that that was going to happen. But he's trying to play president, and he's a bumbling buffoon. I'm not defending him. He's ridiculous. He's embarrassment, of course. But I'm just wondering, is he as bad a person? Is he a demon like they're trying to make him out to be? Now, if you really look at what he's been doing, other than being a fucking gigantic ass, I'm not defending him again, but he's trying to make peace with Russia, which I am for, and his administration is actually going after human trafficking. And then they also had the largest pharmaceutical or health industry fraud bust in the history of the United States. 412 people were charged in crimes equaling $1.3 billion in health and pharmacy fraud cases in which doctors and hospitals were caught overprescribing patients in order to create higher prices. The Trump administrations and Jeff Sessions is the reason why that fraud case got through. They did that. I mean, are they all bad? Yes, Jeff Sessions is a racist prick. Again, why is the mass media forcing me to defend Jeff Sessions? There's no defense for Jeff Sessions. Fuck Jeff Sessions. I'm just saying, fuck these pharmacy guys too, and these doctors that are overprescribing in order to raise profits. And I applaud them for the fraud case. That's amazing. largest in U.S. history. I can't ignore that and say that that's nothing. That's not something you would have seen if Obama was president. Now, maybe you would have a smoother, more president you could be proud of, you know, a polished guy, or even if Hillary was president, she'd probably be pretty polished. A little snootier than Obama, but polished. And you could be proud, you know, when she'd go to Germany or someplace like that, you could be proud. But would she be going after human trafficking? I don't think so. Would she be going after the health and pharmacy industry? I don't think so. So I got to give him props for those two things as well. And then this Russia thing is a fucking witch hunt. Michelangelo touched on this. It's a witch hunt. It's bullshit, trumped up bullshit, to use dumbass's name. And, you know, it's not that I'm pro-Russia. I rooted for Rocky in Rocky IV. I am not pro-Russia. I'm not saying that. And I'm not defending Vladimir Putin. I'm not saying he's a great guy. I'm saying I trust him more than I trust my media. When he tells me something, I tend to raise an ear. I'm saying that much, but I'm not saying he's a great guy. You know, I just think the Russia thing is a witch hunt. And I'm not pro-Russia. I'm just pro-logic. That's all. You know, I just want to use my head to think, and then I can't help but do that. So my head screams that this Russia thing is bullshit. And can't get behind it. And then there was also, I watched this, and can't even believe this, but I watched Sean Hannity today. I watched a clip from Hannity. And he was talking about this Russian lawyer, you know, and this Russian shit. She worked for the DNC. Now, I didn't back check him. I'm going to say that's true. I got, for some reason, there was a starter my Bayless had to put in the van, and I wish I could say I was part of it. I was about to lie and say I was. I was actually writing the show last minute. So Sean Hannity says that this lawyer, this female attorney, was here on a special waiver that Loretta Lynch gave her to stay in the country on a special visa in order to work she worked for the Democratic Party, a couple congressmen, I think he said, or whatever. Anyway, she was connected to the DNC and allowed to stay. And they knew about her. So she was working with the Democrats. She's got ties to the Democrats, according to Sean Hannity. And he went on to say that, to heavily imply at least, that this entire thing was a setup. And I honestly thought it was too, without even knowing she's tied to the Democrats, which honestly wasn't the first time I heard it from Hannity. But I don't know the source of the other time I heard it. Kenny says Hillary Clinton colluded with Russia when she sold 20% of our uranium to Russia. And the Clinton administration made millions off that deal. And she's absolutely right. And also, she helped me remember something else. Around the time of, I think that, Bill Clinton gave a speech in Moscow for $500,000, which was twice his normal speaking fee. So there's that too. So they also patted Bill. I don't know if it was in that, but it had to do with something in Russia. He gave a speech in Moscow for $500,000. I wish I took better notes on Hannity. I thought I did, but I got to my last note and it's not there. So I either lost it somewhere, because my papers did fall. Because I did take notes. I think I did, but I lost them. Helen's laughing. She knows I do this shit all the time. But anyways, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Anyways, the Democrats were tied to this lawyer, and I think the whole thing's bullshit. I think it was entrapment. I think that this was plan B. Like, what do we do if something goes wrong? Like, nothing's ever going to go wrong. It's Donald fucking Trump. Well, what if it does? Well, we'll blame Russia. We want to Trump shit up with Russia anyway. We want to go to war with Russia anyway. Why don't we just blame Russia when this goes wrong? And then, you know, we can use all of that to advance our agenda with Russia, even against his will. So that's what I think's going on. Lisa says she fact-checked it and it's true. Okay, cool. Is it still breaking up, John? John said it was breaking up. I know I cut out for a minute, but Kenny says they're going after Jill Stein again with the Russia bullshit. Does everybody know about what really happened with Jill Stein in Russia? Wasn't she at like a dinner and they were like, it was like musical chairs or something, right? And they just happened to be sitting at that table when the picture was taken. It wasn't like the whole dinner was with them. Wasn't it something like that, Kenny? I thought I heard it was something close to that, where it was like she wasn't actually having the entire dinner with that group of people. John says Trump will end up resigning. He is threatening to fire Mueller. That's a no-no. Not only that, Mueller is now going after his past dealings with them. Okay, and that's another thing. Another thing I could add to what John is saying. That's true what John is saying, by the way. I agree with that. And I think Trump will probably resign. And, I don't think he wants this at all. Meliana won't even live at the White House. I don't think Trump wants to live at the White House. He always looks miserable. Always. He doesn't want to do this. He goes to Mar-a-Lago every weekend. He always looks like a pouting child. Look at any of those, times he's on film and when he's acting as president. He looks like a pouting child all the time. He hates it. Nobody likes him. Everybody's bagging on him every day. This man craves positive attention. He loves having his ass kissed. And all he ever hears about now is how terrible he is. His kids are going on TV all the time talking about, oh, quit, everybody picks on my dad. Or your dad says some hateful, ignorant shit. And then he backs up ignorant, hateful behavior. So what does that get you? I've never seen that get you a positive result. It's never gotten me a positive result. Anytime I've given somebody negativity, I've gotten that in return. But let's see here. John says, and we have fuckface Pence. I told pimp. Can you imagine Pence the pimp? Pence. I totally agree, bro. Pence is not better than Trump. You don't want Mike Pence. You don't want President Pence. First off, President Pence is going to be a polished politician. He's not going to telegraph like Trump does. And he's going to work better with Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell towards an agenda that none of us want. And they're going to be a lot more efficient at screwing you over and doing it in a way where you don't get to see most of it. They're already trying to have, what does Mitch McConnell want to have? He wants everybody to vote on this new one they're going to present without this healthcare bill without even looking at it. These people are they're psychopaths. They don't even, the shit that they say, when it hits your ear and it sounds crazy, it didn't sound crazy to them. Think about that. They believe their bullshit to a level where they can sell it to you as truth. When Marco Rubio or Paul Ryan looks into the camera and he says people are choosing not to have health care, I think he's made himself believe that. John says, I think he got a lot more than he bargained for. Exactly. I don't think he wanted this. He didn't expect to win. He was supposed to be the straw man. It's just shit didn't go right. She was so unpopular and she just couldn't campaign because whatever the fuck is wrong with her, she's very sick. All right, that was clearly evident. She's passing out. Sometimes she looked half dead. When she lost, they even paraded her out without makeup. And I mean, she looks like a ghost. She almost looks as bad as Bill does. But, some of them times she just was too weak. She couldn't fill a gymnasium. They had to Photoshop a picture of a high school gym and repeat the crowd like 8 times, I think it was, to make it look like it was full. This is a Clinton. Her name is Clinton. She's one of the best-known politicians working today. A well-known household name. Couldn't fill a gym. Nobody likes her. She lost to Donald Trump. But they pushed her on you anyway. Just know this. If you are a vote blue no matter who, and you don't use your brain, and I'm not saying dem exit, I don't think that's the way to go. I think what Bernie's doing is the way to go. So what I'm saying is just use your brain. Vote for people. Even if it's a Republican, if it's someone you agree with and you feel good about, you vote for that dude. Don't give a shit what's next to their name. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm not sure how many Republicans you're going to find that you totally agree with or you agree with enough to want to vote for, but if so, do it. What's next to their name, the R, the D, the I, the G, it doesn't matter. And they only count the R's and the D's anyway. At the presidential level, I'm saying. Local level, that's where the Green Party needs to focus, honestly. The presidential level, that's a joke, and they know it. And I think they know that's a fact. They know that their election was rigged. They know that they at least got their 5%. I would think it was more than that. Honestly, I would think it was more than that. I know for a fact that my vote was thrown in the trash because if I look at the final totals for my district, me and my wife both voted for Jill. And I would say I converted at least 6 people, but let's just say 2. The final tally shows 0. So they threw him in the trash, or they gave him to Hillary, or whatever they did with him. And they know that happened on a massive scale. So unless they want to preach for election reform on a massive level, you're going to have to massively fix election reform before a Green Party presidential run is realistic. I apologize. I don't even think if Bernie went draft People's Party, right? He goes People's Party. Bernie Sanders would win. Everyone would know that Bernie Sanders won that election, but they would rig the shit out of it. There's no way they'd let him win. I don't think. So people would have to rise up after that. I think even Bernie's going to have trouble third party, and I predict he's going to go People's Party. But I think even Bernie's going to have trouble. You're going to watch the media turn on him. They're going to start talking about him as a communist again. They're going to paint him as crazy Bernie. They'll bring up that Jane bullshit, trumped up college scandal, all kinds of shit like that. The fucking house they bought with the inheritance money or from the death in Jane's family that we all hear about over and over again. Sheepdog Sanders, they're going to start bashing the fuck out of him the minute he goes third party. And they'll rig the shit out of the election. And that's a documented fact now that they rigged the Democratic primary. It's admitted in court and in Debbie Wasserman Schultz's book.